When I worked at Benton Bowles, I was working on Sugar Bear and Sugar Bear commercials. One day, we were introduced to a new producer. He was, just getting acquainted with the job of producing commercials at Benton Bowles, and his name was Joe McCall. And Joe and I got together very well, at that time. We worked on a lot of commercials together, principally for Post. There were other commercials that I did. There were 3 or 4 commercials that I was involved with that were all very successful. And Joe was very involved with me in these ventures. And Joe eventually left Benton Bowles and opened up his own agency. Joe got involved with the Hasbro people, and they were a terrific client for Joe, because they did so much stuff. And but during that period, working with Joe, and it seems I was the only artist working for Joe. I was the only one doing his commercials. So we worked very closely together. And Joe got this idea for the Space Coaster during that time. I was in on the very origin of it in terms of drawing some of the characters that were puppets in the show. And the show became very successful. It really took hold, and it ran on Saturday mornings. And one of the interesting things was that we did an animated opening for the show, which later on won an Emmy. When we won the Emmy, that was in 1982. So I'd been working with Joe McCall for quite a while. And what happened was that the show didn't win the Emmy, but the animated opening won the Emmy. So it was kind of ironic that Joe had, hoped to sell the whole package, but our animated opening did win. We were just awestruck, and the person giving the awards was Joan Fontaine, the actress. Going up to get the award, when they announced that we were winners, we went up. And we were so unprepared to accept this thing. Like usually you know what you're going to say when you get up there. You're prepared. You're going to win. And we were totally unprepared. And I remember the person that was giving out the awards was Joan Fontaine, was a very popular actress at one time. And so Mike Smollin, who designed the artwork on that show, on the Space Coaster, and I went up to get our award from her, and we were just speechless. We literally couldn't even utter a thank you. I mean, we were that flabbergasted, but we finally did. And I remember whatever I said, Mike followed me up and he said, whatever he says, that goes for me too.
I'm Miriam Caton, and first met Ray when we worked for a place called Jumbo Picture that eventually became Disney Studio in New York. And well, one day he walked in, and we really didn't know anything about him. We didn't know his background, but he was so sweet. He looked around and said, "Oh, these great drawings. Who are doing this?" and everything. And later on, like, gee, he thought we were doing great drawings. We didn't realize how big he was, a professional. So we all sat one by one, cubicles, and it was a great group. It was a great group, and it was so much fun working with him.